What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new figure review. Today we are taking a look at the Amazon exclusive Carbonized Sith Trooper and the standard release Sith Trooper. These are of course part of the 6-inch Black Series line that was just released on Force Friday. Of course, again, if you haven't seen our vlog, check it out. We found a ton of great things out there, but of course, the only way to get this bad boy was through Amazon. So luckily, I was able to get him pretty quickly. I pounced on that pre-order right at midnight, right when it went up. And then I ended up finding this guy at Meijer. So let's go ahead, not waste any time here. We're going to take a look at the package, then the accessories, then the figures themselves. So let's start with the standard release. It's in the red and black box, nothing special. It's $92. There is the bio, and one thing I want to say about the Sith Trooper is this last little part here. They're elite soldiers that draw inspiration and power from a dark and ancient legacy. So will the Sith Troopers actually have some sort of force ability? I think that would be pretty cool. And then of course 92 on the side here, but you can see the box is a little different. It is a shiny red, just like the figure, in the black on the side here looks really nice, very shiny and reflective. Of course, it's also 92, which I think is kind of interesting because usually exclusives don't have numbers, but for the carbonized versions of all the figures, they've all had the same numbers. And of course, everything's exactly the same. The bio is the same, but the back is nice and shiny on the side there. So let's go ahead, get them open, and we'll take a look at the accessories. All right, so we will start with the standard Sith Troopers accessories, and he comes with this smaller handheld blaster. He comes with two blasters here. You can see the difference right there. We're going to take a look at this one, and it does match the paint scheme of the Sith Trooper, of course. So it's red and black, and it does have some nice sculpted details on it, like the barrel. I like the sort of holy look of that, and the clip is red, and it does have some nice little bits of silver for the little scope there. And then the other weapon here is another new design, and it looks really cool. Kind of like almost looks like a submachine gun kind of look, if you ask me. And it also has some nice silver and sculpted detail, and the paint is also appreciated. The red and black looks really nice. And both of his weapons do store on him. This one, not so much. And then for the carbonized version, he only comes with this blaster here. He does not come with the smaller one from the standard Sith Trooper release, which is kind of a bummer considering you're paying an extra $5 for the carbonized version. And he comes with less accessories, which not cool. However, the paint apps on this do look awesome. I love the shiny red paint that they used for the carbonized look, and I'm glad that they actually included it on the gun as well. The silver bits do look really nice, and the sculpted details are exactly the same. So I do like the designs of the Sith Trooper weapons so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figures. All right, and here are both of the Sith Troopers out of the packaging, looking really nice. Of course, you can tell the night and day difference between both of them. This is the Amazon exclusive, very shiny, sort of a darker metallic red, and then the standard release right here is the brighter normal style red of the Trooper. I really think if you could get some details in here with like a Gundam marker or something and fill out all of these lines here, do some panel lining on the Sith Trooper, he would look really awesome. So of course these are the exact same figure, and let's get them closer here. We'll take a look at some of their details. We'll take a look at the carbonized version first here. See, he does feature some really nice paint. The reflective red look of the figure is really nice, and I think I do like this version a lot better than the standard release, even though this is probably not movie accurate and the other style is a little bit more movie accurate. But you know, the shiny red style paint just does something for me. It just does something for me. He has tons of sculpted details you can see on the armor, lots of nooks and crannies. And I really just like the Sith Trooper design. I think it's one of my favorite Disney Star Wars designs so far. It's a little bit reminiscent of a clone trooper. It's like a clone trooper mixed with a First Order trooper, and I really do like how that ended up looking. And then for the regular release, you can see all those details are still there, but they are just a lot less defined because of the dullness. Well, not really dullness, but just the flat sort of plastic look of the figure because it is not painted. It's just red plastic. And you can see the details do match up pretty well. They've even both got that little bit of black paint on the back right there. That is present on both figures. I know for the Carbonized Mandalorians, there was a couple key spots that were a little different, but it looks like for the Sith Trooper, all the details, they are present on both figures. Where there is black paint on one, there is on the other. So that's nice. That's good that they are at least very similar. However, at the end of the day, they are pretty basic in terms of the design. Not a whole lot going on with either of these figures paint-wise. So the details are nice, but they are also borderline non-existent due to the design. Okay, so let's get into some articulation. They are exactly the same figure, so the articulation will be the same across the board. The head of the Sith Trooper does not look up at all. Looks down very little. No side to side really. So pretty much all that's there is just the head from side to side. It feels like that there is a neck joint there, like at the base of the neck, and even looks like it, but I don't know if it's stiff. But both of my Sith Troopers are like that. I don't know if it's so stiff it just doesn't want to move, but I don't know. It scares me. I don't want to mess around with it too much, but it does look like it's there. These shoulders do move all the way out, and the armor on the actual shoulder is nice and soft, so it doesn't get in the way there, and you can get the full range of motion out of that. It does also have butterfly joints, which this arm is really loose for the butterfly joint, and this arm not so much. It's a little bit tighter, but it is there. The single jointed elbow is nice and deep, and you get a perfect 90 out of it. Of course, the hand does have the proper vertical hinge for the gun, and it does rotate as well. The diaphragm joint is here, so you get tons of movement out of that. It is a little limited due to the design of the armor, but for the ab crunch, not really that far forward, and just a little bit back, but you do get the side to side and all of that good motion there. The legs do kick out really far, and the double jointed knees work really well. The armor doesn't even get in the way on the Sith Trooper. We've got the thigh swivel there as well. The legs can kick out decent enough. And then if we move down to the foot here, you can see that it goes down pretty far. Doesn't really go up a whole lot, and does have the ankle pivot there. So now we're going to take both of these figures, we're going to set them up together, and we're going to compare them to some other figures so you can see how they scale. Here they are next to the standard Mandalorian and the Carbonized Mandalorian, and then the Carbonized Jet Trooper and the Mayfex First Order Stormtrooper. And then back to the Black Series, we have Cal Kestis and the Second Sister Inquisitor. And finally, we have the Mezco 112th Collective Michael Myers and the NECA Roy Burns Jason Voorhees. Okay, so now that we are through with the comparisons, and before I get to my final thoughts, one thing I wanted to mention with these figures was the design of this blaster. While it does look really cool, and you definitely can get him to hold it with both hands, you can see here that look at how tight the grip of the hand is versus the actual barrel, or whatever you call this underneath part of the gun is. So you really have to stretch out the Sith Trooper's hand if you would want him to hold it with both hands. And that always bugs me because you can do it, and I have done it, but it's just so sketchy. And of course it would be easier to do with some hot water just to loosen it up. So there we go. Got it in the regular release's hand, but his hand is being stretched so far, and it is kind of difficult to do it with the regular Sith Trooper. So that is a little bit of a bummer, especially the longer you leave it like that, the more I would imagine it's going to be permanently stretched out, so he won't be able to grip this gun as easily, and with this gun not pegging into the hole very well, unless maybe I'm supposed to do it like that, but that doesn't really look good, but you can see there that it's kind of got a little gap there just from the design of the weapon storage, and it pops right out so easily. So I honestly don't know which way there you go. I don't know which way I'm going to pose them. I think this one I'm just going to keep with the smaller blaster in his hand. And that one just pegs in so much better. But you can see, look at how stretched out his hand is now. Just from holding it for a few seconds there. Obviously, if you just curl it back up, it usually goes decently back to its original form. To hold the other weapon, and he holds the other weapon just fine. But with the Carbonized Sith Trooper, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if his hands are, well, they might have some sort of gloss over them to match the overall look of the figure. But for whatever reason, it's harder to open his hand up, but pretty sure I could hot water it or hair dry it and it would be fine. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's talk about my final thoughts about both of these figures. And I do like the design of both of these figures. I think the articulation is very good, especially for how awful the First Order troopers have been. Not that these guys are actually part of the First Order, but they definitely do look like they are part of the First Order. The updated articulation is very appreciated. I'm glad they can both hold their guns in both hands if you stretch them out. So the standard figure is pretty nice. So let's talk a little bit more about the Carbonized Trooper. Is it worth it? Because he is an extra $5, just like all of the Carbonized releases have been. And I feel like, again, I'm so conflicted on the Carbonized looks, because I do really like the way the Mandalorian looks, and I do really like the way this Carbonized Sith Trooper looks. But this shiny paint, I just feel like, is not enough to justify the extra $5, especially for the Sith Trooper, because he only comes with the one gun. He doesn't even come with the other gun. I feel like that just makes it even more of a negative, that you're losing out on accessories just to get this paint job. Although the paint job is really nice, and I definitely love the way this figure looks. But it's hard to justify that price increase for him. So I would say, honestly, you might be better off sticking with the regular release, especially since we don't know much about these Sith Troopers at this point in time. No one has seen Rise of Skywalker, so it's hard to tell if they really will even be in the movie that much. But at the end of the day, I don't regret picking up the Amazon release, because I think it does look fantastic. And it definitely looks more interesting than the standard release. But at the same time, I don't really think it's worth the extra $5. So yeah, that is my review of the Sith Troopers. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you pick up the standard, or did you pick up the Carbonized? Let me know which one you prefer. Of course, thank you so much for checking out my review. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about action figures, movies, and Blu-rays. So if any of that sounds interesting, smash that subscribe button. Ring the bell so you're notified when we are uploading. Share this video with your friends, all your fellow Star Wars nerds. Tell them to come on by out of the basement and check us out. Of course, I'm Nate. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time on Out of the Basement.